Welcome everyone to the Verizon post-game interview. After a TSM victory, I am joined by jungler Spica. All right, Spica, tell me, why was this a game where TSM had the greatest gold lead that you have had all split?
I mean, honestly, this game, I think the biggest emphasis is since we're out of playoffs, I think we just want to just have fun, you know, just play as aggressive as possible. And I think we showed that this game. And obviously, like having no pressure also, you know, adds on a lot to that. And hopefully tomorrow, you know, we can have similar performances.
How did you get to that point as a team of kind of using that no pressure to your advantage? Because it feels like sometimes it can go that direction, but it also has the possibility of going way the other way.
Yeah, I mean, we might have went a bit too far sometimes this game, but, you know, I'm happy with our performance this game. You know, pretty much from drafting phase, we just said, you know, just play whatever you want. Like, you know, Huni really wanted to play Rumble. So like, okay, I'll just play Jarvan for you. And I think it worked out great in the end.
And that Jarvan play actually earned you player of the game for this one. A lot of attacking of the top side. Yeah, wait, why do you seem surprised by that?
I personally feel like I didn't do much after the 20 minutes. We're having a little bit of fun. But, you know, I still take those.
You set up well, though, in the earlier parts of the game. Were you trying to take advantages elsewhere? We know that CLG likes to play a lot towards that bot side.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think me and Huni has, you know, we played the last year together for a whole year. And I think we have really good synergy. So, you know, we just go back to our roots, say, hey, you know, we're just going to play jungle top. We're going to get lead. And then we're going to just get back to the team once, you know, balling play weak side. I think that worked out great.
You mentioned the comfort picks that we saw over from you and Huni. We've seen that actually a lot recently. How does that help the team's overall development to have the stable force of you two who have worked together in the past?
I mean, I think just when you have a lane that's going to be guaranteed winning and we have really, really good synergy together, the game's just going to be a lot easier to play. And I think, you know, we had a lead top lane, we transitioned that into mid and bot, and it just feels really smooth, just like how we played the game last year.
And it's still a super week, and there's a lot to gain from these stage or even virtual stage performances. Are you all trying to tackle anything specifically? You have another match against TL tomorrow, or are you taking a bit more of a relaxed approach in these last matches?
I mean, for me, I definitely really want to beat TL just because Bjerg left us like a rat. But if we can beat him, it'll be really, really great, and it'll be, I guess, the highlight for my season at least. So I'm really excited for tomorrow's game.
I feel like I see TSM players and Team Liquid players still hanging out a lot in a lot of the post content. Is that the case?
I mean, I think we're still, you know, great friends with Bjerg. We still talk a decent amount, and Tactical's obviously really, really close with a lot of TL staff and members. So, you know, it's great every time we see each other, just have a really, really friendly relationship outside of, you know, competitive, and just, you know, adds a lot more fun to it.
A lot of fun for the fans that were watching too. You know that TSM has that really strong fan base. Is there anything that you want to say to them right now, final week of the regular season, cheering you on in victories such as the one today?
Thank you for the support. The split is not that great, but it can't get worse next split. So, you know, it's only up from here, I guess.
Yeah, looking towards those positive horizons. Spica, always great talking to you. Congrats on the W.
Thank you very much for having me.
Of course. More for us to break down on this. Let's head on over to the State Farm Analyst Desk.
Tempting fate. It can't get worse.
Technically, you could be below Immortals in the standing. Could get worse.
Yeah. We've been tiebreakering stuff.
Update.
Technically, Dig is not eliminated.
And the reason for that is because if teams end up in a four-way tie, unlike a three-way tie, where when someone has a 0-2 record against both teams, they're just kicked out and then another tiebreaker is played. An actual bracket is played with 4 teams that are tied, and head-to-head record does not matter.
Yeah, so if FlyQuest, EG, Golden Guardians, and Dig all end at 8 and 10, that's when Dig would still have a chance. But if there's any type of three-way tie, because Dig is 0-2 against all the teams above them, they would be out. So that would be like the next miracle run we try and set up. But like all of our miracle runs that we've talked about have just flown away.
We should stop hyping things up.
Yeah.
Every time we hype it up, it ends. Yeah. So there's no four-way tie possible, everybody. There's no way that's going to happen. All right?
It can't get worse.
No.
I mean, okay, pressure, I think. Like, pressure is kind of the name of the game for this one, because Speaking just there, TSM played what, their best game of the split? But CLG maybe played their worst game of the split, right? Because it suddenly mattered. It's suddenly like, oh, wow, we've had such a hard time, we can win. Is that what you felt in this game, or was it something else?
So, to be honest, I felt like that was a large portion of just the draft coming into play. There were a number of kills that CLG did not get because of the Soraka pick. There was a face check by Spica in the bot lane that got turned around because the Soraka healing. This with the Soraka ult, there was an all-in where Tactical was able to get survived by the just healing of the Soraka. And I felt like that accelerated the carries to the point where they could just kind of run over the game, because it is just a lot of damage. It's just a damage comp. It's all damage aside for Jarvan with CC, and so if you fall behind, you're kind of useless. But if you get ahead, you just keep murdering people. And
I think the funniest thing is, Spica was like, oh yeah, we just all locked in champions and really wanted to play. I'm
felt like
shocked that Shenyi really wanted to play Soraka, just because it's so against what we think of him, right? It's like so not what I saw him play in the LPL. It's so not what he has said he feels like support is, right? With a super heavy engaged support. But the Soraka was actually, to Mark's point, the massive difference maker. This, they pointed out on cast, but the chunk that Takeover had into the Rumble ult was so important to set up this play.
You just made me think of something totally tangential.
Oh, no.
Like, Core JJ loved playing Yuumi. And he was so vocal when he was on Yuumi,
really?
too, which was just crazy. He was just cluttering comms.
So who knows? Maybe I'm just wrong and Shenyi loves playing Soraka?
I think it probably is. I think these super aggressive supports, like when there's a champion that they can play completely differently, sometimes there is something there that just makes it more entertaining.
I can just see him being like, all right, face check that brush, get chunked down, almost die, almost die.
Yeah.
All right, let me heal. No.
It's a totally
like
different game. You don't
game.
have to engage. People are just going to come to you.
And then the rest of the team is like, where's our engage? But this, I will say, for TSM, feels good they won. I will personally admit I am sad that CLG lost for a couple of reasons. One, obviously just the hype scenario of the playoffs that we were kind of building up of the Miracle run, that fell apart. I was a big believer in CLG in this roster at the start of the year as one that could actually potentially be the dark horse for playoffs, and it was kind of true. And then the dark horse died. So, that was another personal one for me. I still, for both these teams, think heading into summer, now that they're both out of playoffs, you can see the potential of the players as Tactical popped off. The CLG lineup is able to take games off teams. And this TSM roster, when they feel like they're out of the shadow of the cloud of everything else that happened this year, showed that they can take people down.
Yeah.
They beat C9.
They did. It's odd.
It is odd.
I don't know. It's just odd how we were talking about, we can be biased on the analyst desk. We're not cashing the game. We wanted CLG to win because it made things more interesting for us.
Yeah.
And yet, almost as soon as we wanted it, we got exactly the opposite expectation. So, it reminded me of, personally, the one it was closest to was, the 2017, this is over-exaggeration, but the 2017 Worlds group stage where TSM needed to, just beat the 0-5 Flash Wolves, and they just get decimated, right? And COG just needs to beat TSM having their worst split ever, and they get blown out. So you hate to see it when that stuff happens.
I think it also speaks to bring it around full circle to what we started talking about at the top of it. TSM playing freely, even if we don't think this is the roster that's going to stay together, that ability to just have fun playing the game actually matters a lot.
Yeah. All right, we have another game. Next game, Immortals. They're already knocked out of playoffs, but they can look to play spoilers to FlyQuest.
Yes.
The pressure is off. We see this once again. FlyQuest, so many ways that they can make playoffs. They just have to win. That's it.
They win and they're in.
They win and they're in. But there's pressure on FlyQuest. There is no pressure on Immortals. We have to know if we're going to see that again. Also, Immortals has subbed back in the bottom lane. They've been playing most of the second half of the split. So we're going to see, again, Arrow and Destiny, they're back. Wild Turtle and Joey not playing.
Yeah, and I think for Immortals, they had a big loss yesterday to the side of CLG, where they got massively ahead. They ended up throwing that and falling behind. So for Immortals, even though they are done in their playoff hunt, I still think there's a little bit of pressure on them given how defeated they looked on their cams yesterday when they lost that game. That was a loss that wasn't just, oh, we're out of playoffs loss, but that was personal disappointment in how they performed. And I think that's why, for them, they want to win today.
Yeah, I mean, none of them expected or wanted the season that they've had. I know we talked about it in Waiting Room, but in terms of constructing a roster of kind of well-known players, that have been around for a little bit longer, we expected this roster to actually be able to possibly sneak in like to a top 5 as like a dark horse. Yeah.
But the team that's actually done that is FlyQuest. We can get some positivity in here too, because a player on FlyQuest, toucouille, I think has been really, really good. I've been doing a look ahead to like which mids do I think are going to be on my first team, second team, third team ballot. toucouille is way up there actually when I look at his stats and think about the way he's performed this whole split. And it's actually not too surprising if you follow his history. Right? He was the MVP of the LFL. The whole team was actually extremely hyped to see him there. He's such a good control mage player. We knew that, but he's really been able to perform on pretty much anything he brings to the table and has been a really big part of FlyQuest's surprisingly good split.
Yeah, I mean, I think I know we would go back to their game against, or their game against TL, right?
Yeah.
Where he's like flanking on the FLICKR. It sounds weird, but in terms of where he is in relation to his team has been the thing that surprised me the most. Because sometimes when mids come in, even if they have a really amazing split in something like the LFL, where we were just seeing the highlights, they might not have good coordination or good positioning. Here's the awesome Viego flank there. But this is just also team coordination, which is something that FlyQuest has been surprisingly good with.
He definitely flies a little under the radar as well in the current meta where laning dominance is not something you see out of mid laners very often. And when you're playing things like Viego and whatnot, like you're not going to crush lane phase, but then outside of lane, he's actually the highest damage mid laner in the league percentage-wise for what he contributes to his team, which is speaking to his threat in the late game. He's an incredible team fighter. He can find the right opportunity to go in and find kills like you just saw in those highlights to win his team games. And that's why I think he's creeping up a lot of people's ballots when they're trying to weigh mid laners in a very weird mid lane meta.
Yeah.
He is starting to establish himself as like, well, late game, I'm one of the best.
It's been really hard for mid laners to stand out. And I want to, as we're about to get into this game, bring up kind of one more thing in regards to like being a clutch player or pressure. Even though there is now way more pressure on FlyQuest than there is on Immortals, I would say aphromoo teams, generally speaking, are more clutch than some of the other teams.
You cursing them right now?
But I do think Immortals is like dangerous now. I hope we see a throw it all out the window, play what you want type of game from Immortals, and I think that's how we're going to see the best performance. But we're only going to see it when we get in the draft, and for that, we're going to go to Captain Flowers and Kobe.
Man, I love a throw it all out the window type of game, Kobe. Just take all that stuff out the window, out the window. Yeah, get all that out the window. We're going to get this out the window. I hope that doesn't explode.
He's going to start throwing the computer
We're
out.
throwing it all out the window, and we're hoping that Immortals gives us okay, maybe not that one. They'll probably get mad if we break something that's actually important. Anyway, I'm excited for this one. I hope we get to see Immortals unleashed. And as for FlyQuest, they want to get every win they can.
TSM just showed us the recipe for success is removing all expectations, all pressure. Now it's Immortals' turn to embrace the eliminated playoff team style. Let's see what they can do. And I want that to be around revenge. As you see on screen here, this is one of the things they stated at the beginning of the year. We're investing in revenge. We're building around revenge. He is the young NA talent. We're bringing in a bunch of veterans to surround him. And they, in large part, let him do that with a lot of split pushing and individual high mechanics required carry top lane champions. So let's see it in this game. You know, hopefully they go with a similar attitude here versus FlyQuest, because right now, Immortals are currently on an 8-game losing streak. That is basically the reverse of going legendary.
That's
Because legendary is 8-0. And let's get through to the pick bands.
if you're 0 and 8, are you worth more money than a cannon minion?
Ooh.
That I actually don't
we
know.
need to collect some data.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure how
How
those
many
streaks
deaths
work.
does it take until you're worth 69 gold?
Nice.
Because I've killed someone that was worth 69 gold before. I know that that is possible in this game.
That's a possibility. But okay, let's go ahead and check where we're at here, because Ahri, Volibear, Azir, Xerxe, Lee Sin, and Hecarim are all banned away. FlyQuest lock in the Viego for Josedeodo here as their very first pick of the draft, and Immortals respond with Aphelios.
All right, Aphelios for Arrow. The AD carry has been the pivoting position here with Immortals. They're swapping the duos. They have been keeping Arrow with Destiny, them back in again after the switch up from yesterday, and it looks like they're going to lock both of their champions here. So the safety to go with the Aphelios, the Tahm, Kench, Aphelios, Very old match made in heaven. I kind of really prefer the Thresh combination with them, but since they're blinding it here, just grabbing the Tahm Kench. And Tahm Kench is also a very good combo stopper, which is what you want versus Viego.
Yeah.
So they're taking into account the first pick, jungle Viego there for Josedeodo, because of course you rely so much on getting that first kill to reset and start stealing souls. Tahm Kench, the obvious denial.
And FlyQuest are going to respond by locking in both their big carries here. We got Jinx in the bottom lane. We got the Viktor in mid. They're not afraid to just blind pick that one here nice and early. We'll see if Immortals wants to respond with their own mid laner, because we're guaranteed to have desynced picks here in the first half.
Yeah, PowerOfEvil too. I'm hoping he's got a spicy pick. You know, we were talking a lot about Revenge and his his spicy picks. Well, for PoE, actually, the spice is in the builds, my friend.
Well,
it's
I mean, that's a given. It's PoE. But, I mean, you want to talk about spicy. If Orianna was a spice, she would be flour. Come on.
Well, let's see what kind of bread PoE's making today, because Orianna is actually a champion where he has had some of the most creative builds, you know, auto attack based builds.
Nashor's Tooth and all that, yeah.
He even has done Lich Bane on it before, so, you know, let's, we'll wait and see on that.
All right,
So,
all right.
Honestly, continuing through here, the ban of the Thresh here for the bottom side, trying to not allow that partner for Jinx. FlyQuest, it looks like they're going very standard. When you lock in Jinx plus Viktor, you have really good security for later on in the game. The arcane carries, as they are,
Yeah,
match made in heaven. Just need some frontline to work with there for him. So I'm assuming it's going to be some sort of tank for Kumo on top side, and some sort of tank/engage, you know, support for aphromoo as well, because the desk kind of touched on it, but when aphromoo is, you know, the shot caller as well as the engage for the team, they look a lot better.
The best aphromoo is engage aphromoo, and Immortals are respecting that. They're getting rid of the Rakan. That's a huge engage support. Also getting rid of the Thresh, which, as you already touched on a little bit earlier, talking about Aphelios, is a great buddy for immobile hyper carries. The bans from FlyQuest going to be Jarvan and Aatrox. Immortals, we still need to see a jungler. We still need to see a top laner. What are those going to look like here in these last couple of picks? I do expect the jungler to come out first and leave that counter pick for Revenge as the very last pick of the draft. And there it is, Xerxe going to be on Trundle.
I like the little taunt there as well, because they're obviously going to save last counter pick for Revenge.
Yeah.
But they taunt and they hover the auction. And honestly, that's what I want to see him on now. I've been baited.
Yeah,
I've been enticed.
I'm ready for that, yeah.
But as we expected, or not locked in yet, but we expect, again, the tank top for Kumo and some sort of engage there for aphromoo. You know, Alistar himself is up as well. There's the tank top for Kumo. What will it be, aphromoo?
All right.
Renata Glass is also up, but isn't the greatest pick here, so...
I like her with Viego. Like, her ability to allow Viego to get a reset is really awesome, but she doesn't fit the big engage type of bill, you know?
Yeah, but since they have it from Kumo, if you rely on Kumo, we could still... Oh, even better!
Aphromoo Bard!
Afro Bard, let's go! That is engage. Other cool things with Bard. Well, actually, I'll wait until we get into game, into its more timely,
All right.
more timely manner.
We will
to give
revisit this conversation. I'm making a mental
Bard
note
aspects, yeah.
right now.
Oh.
Ask Kobe about
I'll give you a
Bard.
hint as to what it is. It's gonna be around 8 minutes. We'll bring this point up.
Okay, around 8 minutes, we will enter into this conversation. What could
what
it
could it
possibly be about?
What relates to Bard and 8 minutes in the game? Anyways, that's a quiz little bit for later for y'all.
Okay, yeah, I'll think about that at home right now. Think about that. What we're thinking about, final pick of the draft for Immortals, honestly, not what I was expecting. I wanted to see Revenge go for something that felt a little bit more responsive to what he was seeing against in terms of like the matchup up there. I wanted to see something a little bit more intense, you know?
You hit me with Orianna is flower as a spice. What spice is Gnar?
Grass. Look, I'm sorry,
That's
dude.
an herb, maybe? We count?
Yeah, something like that.
Okay,
I don't know.
yeah.
Something around those lines. But, hey, maybe Revenge is going to use this one to pilot him to a victory. She got robbed!
Taking more time to find them.
hold up. Ah! And this is before we even take. Yes, let's go! We're one cup down, and you want to FF?
The degeneracy of Mr. Dash. More beer pong next week after LCS on Sundays. So we'll see you then, everyone.
It's the last game of day number 2 here of our Super Week to wrap up the regular season. Immortals already eliminated. FlyQuest sitting in a spot right now. You heard the devs talk about it earlier. 9 wins, and you get the check mark next to your name. Your passport is approved to fly straight into playoffs, Bird.
Super Saturday. Thanks for joining us, everyone.
That's a nice alliteration. Super Saturday. I like that.
This is our conclusion to Super Saturday. There will be an after party in Champions Queue.
yeah. That's a good after party. I wouldn't know. I'm not high-low enough to ever play in that, but that sounds like a cool party.
Kumo will be there. Kumo is definitely a Champions Queue grinder. And we are going to have a quick little pause as we...
You want to talk about Bard now?
Clean up. Yeah, I mean, we were going to wait for the 8-minute thing, but that was supposed to give it away as far as the Rift Herald denials. My favorite thing with Bard is using Bard Ultimate on the tower. You just use it as the Rift Herald is winding up, make your tower go immune, and you can deny the Rift Herald. So, in games when you're playing against Bard, you need to consciously lower your value of Rift Herald.
Yes.
You do not want to sacrifice bottom side of the map so much for early top side plays when you're playing against Bard. It's just a little interesting thing for mainly junglers to keep in mind, which is something I'm hyper focused on, obviously. So it just kind of readjusts some of your priorities for your objective rankings. And we're gonna get right back in though. I think they've solved the problem.
And it also makes sure that the jungler, like obviously you always want your jungler to be able to properly track like where the support and enemy jungler are, like so he can make his plays without getting counterplayed or whatever.
Yeah.
But it's even more important to be able to track the Bard roams if you're trying to drop a Herald against a Bard.
Yeah.
Because sorry, dude, if he's nearby, you're screwed.
Yeah.
There's nothing you can do about it.
It
You just have to immune the tower.
becomes a game of hide and seek with the Bard because
Bard is a horror movie villain.
Bard is very good at staying in the fog of war as well. You know, running around looking for all the meeps, the chimes, picking up the extra experience, floating around. Bottom side, though, is going to leash for Immortals and give Xerxe a accelerated Trundle clear towards top side.
Okay.
So, interesting stuff because I wouldn't expect him to get a lot done towards the Gragas side of the matchup, and that's why, you know, Jose is starting top side. He's looking towards bottom half of the map. Makes sense.
Right. Gragas isn't one of these champions, unless you're going like the full AP Gragas that goes for one-shots and stuff.
And he does have comment.
Yeah, I mean, you can get spicier with that, but the tank Gragas is kind of just a nullifier for a lot of lanes, right?
Yep. And that's what we expect for this team because he is the only tank on the team with aphromoo picking up the Bard, so even though he starts Doran Ring and he does have comment for the lane versus Gnar, probably should still build mainly tank. Meanwhile, the Bard, baby. aphromoo Bard here paired with Jinx. They get the early push very effortlessly, as you should with double range versus melee. Destiny saving his minion executions until now to move up there for arrow.
I always really like this Bard skin because the hot cocoa just is very comforting.
That's why everyone uses it, I swear. This has got to be the most utilized Bard skin.
It's like how people play the Alistar pajama skin all the time. This is the Bard version of pajama Alistar.
Yeah.
Everyone uses it.
And I mean, well, and the cocoa is just so much nicer than any of the other iterations.
And look, watch the little sugar cube. When the thing fully
It's a
charges,
marshmallow. It's a marshmallow, bro.
It sinks into the hot chocolate. That's so good. It shows you when it's ready. It doesn't have a straw until it's ready because you're not supposed to drink it till it's ready.
Yeah, I'm still stuck on sugar cube, man.
I'm pretty sure
They're not horses.
That's too cubular to be a marshmallow. Marshmallows are cylindrical.
I'm quite sure the majority of people will have my back on this.
Well, then the majority of people are also wrong. It's cubular versus cylindrical, man. I passed 3rd grade. I know what 3D shapes are.
Cubular?
Yes.
All right.
Of or being similar to a cube.
I like it.
All right.
I am well versed in the Captain Flowers language.
Hell yeah. You are a
Cubular, dude.
fluent translator. Exactly. Let's check mid lane here because we see Josedeodo in the enemy jungle sitting down a ward on the wolf camp just to keep an eye on where Xerxe is going to be pathing, where he's going to be farming. Jose's back to base, got himself his sheen, so now he can clear out those camps even faster. Revenge shoving in the top side here against Kumo. Nice early farm lead for the Gnar, but when is it not?
Yeah, honestly, that's why it has become the most prominent top laner in the current meta. Gragas is a decent stopper, but so far Revenge making very good use of his push on that top side, and because of the deep vision that you mentioned, he's not going to get punished at all. All right, Xerxe gonna push mid. Now, Trundle is actually one of the junglers that can very early pressure neutral objectives, either Dragon or Rift Herald, because he has such good 1v1 potential.
Yeah.
And because of the passive, gets to heal up a bunch of HP after you kill the neutral objective. So early ping's already going down onto the Dragon, kind of like that. They're being extra cautious about it, trying to protect against that possibility. And because of the extra push that Xerxe gave to PowerOfEvil on Orianna, he's not going to have to use his teleport. So I wonder if this ends up being big. Jungle coming to push out mid here, saves PoE a teleport usage, and he just drops 2 minions there to the turret. Instead, walks all the way back out.
I mean, a lot of times in the early game, ever since they made the change to the teleport, I feel like these saves on the early TPs are a bit less impactful just because it's not like you can use them to really make a play with. It sort of just gives you an extra freebie to return to lane later. Xerxe gets stunned up by Josedeodo, who zones him out. FlyQuest is going for a very early Drake here. Aphromoo is the one tanking it up. Drinks a little bit of that hot cocoa to make sure he doesn't get too low. Immortals are coming around seeing if they can answer this. FlyQuest is taking quite a while to secure it. As they try to get away now, the Dragon is taken low and it's stolen away by Xerxe. Josedeodo didn't have the smite, and that means Immortals walk away with the objective.
Are you kidding me? They rush a Dragon pre 6 minutes with no smite like that? Honestly, Flowers, it's just like we drew it up. We said Trundle, good at early neutral objectives.
Yep.
There you go.
That's
what we're referring
predicting,
to.
predicting in a way that only we can.
Nice job there from Xerxe, though. He flashed forward in order to get in range for that. And the Dragon leashing back and healing up as it's returning to its origin point. So first Dragon acquired for Immortals. Is this the beginning of the revival of Immortals? This is Super Saturday the day of the eliminated teams?
It just might be, man. Immortals, you already said it. They are on an 8-game slide right now. They do not want to end this split without at least stopping that, grabbing a win in one of these next couple of games. Up here against FlyQuest, hey, starting off with a Drake steal like that feels great. And now Xerxe is going to go after the enemy blue buff as we're getting into the second round of those buff spawns. Up there in top side, Kumo stepped down into the river, but now right back up there versus Revenge, who just jumps away from the barrel. He'll be okay. Nice steal coming out from Xerxe. There was no response there from FlyQuest.
All right, we'll keep track up here because Kumo is looking like he's going to go Fimble Winter build. And mana for Gragas is kind of deceptive because Gragas wants to spam abilities anyway, so mana actually does help out a lot with laning. A lot of champions, you see a bunch of flat mana like this, mana crystal and tier, and you're like, whoa, no combat effectiveness, but he's just throwing out barrels for the Comet poke and making good use of his passive there.
Exactly. The passive essentially just converts mana into health, right? The more abilities you can spam, the more drinks you can take, the more burps you can make, the more health you can get.
Boom! There is my representative number 1. It is definitely a marshmallow.
Come on!
Who puts a sugar cube in chocolate? Hot chocolate.
I don't know,
Horses.
but that's cubular. Look, hey,
Also, I've come fully around on this cubular term. I'm a big supporter of
I know,
cubular.
it's good. I don't
like
know
it.
what else you would even say.
Yeah,
That's
I love it.
the word. That's the way to do it. 8 minutes into the game, Immortals has a 600 gold lead without any kills on the board. Xerxe seeing if maybe he can fix that the right way, walking towards mid here to put
bite
back in the way. Yeah, just walk up and take a chomp out of him.
Stupid boards.
Engage. Ooh, Destiny with a nice knock up into a pullback with a shockwave. away from PoE, and Xerxe takes a big old chomp for first blood.
That was such a nice combo from PoE and Destiny, though,
Yeah.
right? The timing on the W from Tahm Kench into Shockwave, really nicely comboed. I mean, that was with toucouille having flash. No response from him, doesn't flash out of it, so he dies quickly. What will this actually come of?
It looks like Josedeodo just realizes this is not a place he wants to be. Ults over the wall for safety. Heartbreaker's pretty good for that, so Jose's going to reset his position now. But hey, man, things are going good for Immortals here in the first 9 minutes.
Honestly, yeah. Saturday truly is the day of the underdogs. Striking back. Revenge is doing well on top side. Basically, the entire rest of the map also for Immortals, winning in small ways. toucouille had been doing very well in the 1v1, but once everybody else came to the lane, that's when it got a bit more difficult.
Well, toucouille's going to get that wave shoved out here in mid. PowerOfEvil walks himself right on back. Got about halfway on the cooldown for the teleports of both of our mid laners here, so those should be back up and ready to go around the time when they're going to become unleashed. They'll be ready a little bit earlier, but you know that mid laners would rather be able to use those to go somewhere, to join a fight, to turn a tide, to make some sort of a play instead of just coming back to lane. Revenge wants to get one more hit on this turret if he can to try to get that plate, but Kumo does a good job clearing out the wave as Revenge was running out of ranged auto attack with the Gnar bar fully charged, so he'll have to step back a little bit on that one. 10 minutes in means we've got 40 seconds until our next Drake spawns. Immortals got that first one. I wonder if FlyQuest is going to go after the second one with the same sort of aggro.
Well, they definitely want to go after it with a smite.
Right, you can have the aggro as long as you got the summoner spell.
Looks like they're setting up in the river right now. FlyQuest taking over that vision, setting up for it. Double control wards towards mid, like that. Looks like they've got their ultimates available if it does burst open into open warfare here. Teleports still not unleashed, though. We've got a long ways to go till the top laners have any say about it.
Yep, they're stuck up there on their island, and they're having a grand old time with it. Gragas stacking the tier, about halfway done on that one.
This is what I wanted to see, though, that turret plate, because you know
Kumo.
he just is itching. Give me that
There it
turret
is,
plate.
there it is.
Nice. The minions get it for him. Revenge gets paid. Okay, now we can concentrate on the rest of the game.
Well, Xerxe and Immortals are saying, all right, we stole away the first Drake. Let's go ahead and get this second one without having to even bother.
On
with the
vision, here we
thievery.
go.
The ward sees him.
Bard ultimate is ready here from aphromoo. They don't want to go for it, though.
Nope.
No denial ultimate, no attempt at the steal. They let him have it, and Immortals progress to 2 dragons.
Immortals with the 2-0 dragon lead, 1,000 gold up. What else can they find? Rift Herald summoned up mid. Where's the Bard? Where is the Bard? He's going over the wall. Arrow's ready to try to stop him. It's summoned up. Aphromoo stops the Rift Herald, but will he die for it? He flashes over the wall, and the shot from downtown. Arrow picks him off.
Oh, man, he makes the turret turn gold, and then he turns into gold. Flowers, Destiny wants more as well.
Josedeodo tries to get away with another Heartbreaker. He will, but he has to use his flash in combination with it. Immortals were coming down there. They were hungry for some Ruined King, but Jose stays alive.
And that was an assisted kill, so it's worth more than the turret plates that Rift Herald would have given. So... Wah, wah.
That's
But
unlucky.
it really does highlight everybody is very aware, even as rare as Bard picks are.
They know it does.
Exactly, of looking for where is Bard. You know he wants to deny the Rift Herald play, and he got it off there just barely in time, lands it. So that's beautiful, but you're right in the face of Arrow. Arrow with Gravitum Gum plus the sniper rifle. So he uses the Gravitum Gum route in the brush right behind it, then is able to finish him off with the sniper Q. Beautiful stuff there for FlyQuest to get something back in this game, Flowers.
Yep, FlyQuest at least being able to stop that Herald from ramming into the turret, but they're still down 2,000. Immortals is feeling good, but a nice knockback with the barrel there from Kumo. Unfortunately, the Everfrost doesn't get the root value that he was looking for. Revenge gets himself right back away. Kumo's surviving up here, but with the Hull Breaker completed for Revenge, he's going to continue owning the 1v1 here in the top side. Now, bottom, Destiny and Arrow. Destiny has been a part of both of the kills so far. Arrow just got paid for the most recent one. These guys are having a great time.
Yeah, Destiny especially has been really, really active here on the Tahm Kench. Big props to him. Like that roam mid and the timing there with PowerOfEvil to pull off the combo on toucouille. Let's see about the next consecutive steps, though, because this is such a good position for Immortals. Revenge, pressure on top side constantly here with the Gnar, and he's got Flash ready as well. So can come to bring that extra power to the rest of the team if they need him. But as you said, Hullbreaker is here, so you just are going to push out advantages against the Gragas.
Oh!
Nice! Shockwave!
Really well done. Ends up using it at the right time, and toucouille's flash is not quite far enough away. The shockwave yeets him right on back, but there's not enough damage from Immortals to finish the kill. But they do get the flash out of the immobile mid laner, which is very important because Immortals could find Soul Point here in 2 minutes, and toucouille has no flash for the fight.
Yep. Small advantages before these fights, Flowers, continually accrued by Immortals. 2 dragons on a very early pace as well. Only 1 minute and 45 seconds left on the next one. But here goes Bard Initiation.
Oh, nicely done there to catch PowerOfEvil on the very edge. But Destiny is ready for the save. Put another one in the win column for this Tahm Kench pick. Destiny is getting so much value out of it.
Inhibit the ribbit. Bent the Kench.
No, you have to uninhibit the ribbit. He is unleashed. Uninhibit the ribbit. Unclog the frog. Destiny in the front line now. Stasis ready to buy a moment longer, but now he's going to be taken low. And now the Kench is benched. The frog is clogged. And Immortals have lost their advantage here in this topside fight. Awesome strike back from FlyQuest.
See, they inhibit the ribbit. FlyQuest, they get the kill. Oh my goodness. And it's the start of a comeback, baby. Rift Herald number 2, not nearly as important as Rift Herald number 1, but it is going to be something into their pockets. Immortals do not want to let this one slip away. This is their moment, Flowers, a resurgence. You got to put a stop to your 8-game losing streak. So here's a look at the opening. Xerxe trading initially here with Jose. Just kidding. toucouille has no flash because of the previous shockwave. Play-by-play that one for me because you didn't get a chance. So it was really bonk, 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 bonk. Perfect.
Trundle just beat him over the head.
Perfect job. That's exactly what just happened to this tower as well.
Sometimes you're just walking around Summoner's Rift with a big old stick and you need to hit people with it. That's Trundle life. That's Trundle gaming. And right now, Xerxe's 2-0 with it.
I'm going to put on my Captain Flowers loop when we get Trundle games. It's just bonk, 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 bonk. And then every once in a while, you get a chomp, depending on how much item haste and ability haste that you have acquired currently with Divine Sunder here for Xerxe as well. It's going to get some nice healing. It is still pretty good, even with the changes to it, if there are health stacking champions, but there are not health stacking champions. That Gragas we were eyeballing has gone with the Everfrost here, so he's kind of splitting the difference and then into Fimbulwinter later.
Well, FlyQuest going after the Drake. It's secured at least this time, so no soul point. Josedeodo has to ult defensively over the wall. Honestly, really good play from FlyQuest. They get the objective, they get everybody out. They don't really have to spend any summoner spells for it. Just a Viego ulti. Feels good.
Yeah, FlyQuest slowly marching their way back into this one. Putting a stop to that dragon stacking because Immortals got in the first 2 so quickly actually is quite significant here for FlyQuest. And remember that they have the scaling carries Viktor, Jinx. Just looking for multiple items here. Once they can get 2 on those core carries, they will be able to work some magic here, quite possibly. Immortals, though, of course, they have plenty of scaling themselves, too, so it's not like there's going to be a huge canyon difference of scaling going on in this game.
It's not a valley. Like, yeah, you got to deal with Viktor, you've got to deal with Jinx, but Aphelios is a monster in his own right once he gets to those late game points, especially if Arrow is able to pilot it with a lot of skill. It's one of those champs where mastery over your guns, mastery over the cycles can go a long way, as PowerOfEvil's farming up here in topside. toucouille sent up there to answer him. FlyQuest shadowing this with both Jose and aphromoo. Jungler and support both ready to go here. Aphromoo is going to get seen as he walks into the brush. Lots of bodies showing up from both sides here, Kobe. We might just have ourselves a nice scrappy bit of League of Legends. Goodbye, aphromoo.
So you said in champs like that, Bard turned Summoner's Rift into what was it? Jump scare game or a?
He's a horror movie.
Well,
villain, 'cause he jumped down the
turns
stairs.
out he was actually not even the main character. That was the one that just died.
Oh no,
first.
Bard was going to summer camp.
Yeah, Bard was going to summer camp in top lane, the tri-brush, and just got met with an entire squad. Meanwhile, Arrow flashes away. Nice from him.
Unlucky, man. Bard went to summer camp. Things went south. Then his buddy barely got away on the other side. Arrow staying alive, and now Josedeodo. He's got to walk away from this one. Xerxe trying to trap him there. FlyQuest disengaging, but Destiny comes over the wall, and Johnsun is gone. Revenge taking the kill credit on that one, and Immortals are not done yet. They keep on pushing the game forward. 4,500 gold lead here for this squad. Kobe, it's still looking good.
And I want to highlight as well all this deep vision, from the side of Immortals, trying to push in on top side. Now that they've finished up work there, they actually rotate Revenge down to bottom side where they don't have vision for him to split push super far up, but he's just trying to push on the extra minion wave here. Meanwhile, they do have some cover from Viego.
Okay, Xerxe just gonna grab his Gromp there, smash that ward. FlyQuest still looking to find something, but they're just not getting a whole lot. Kobe, let's do a thinking exercise here. Let's say you are Fly Kobe. What is your call to do something in this game? Because Immortal, even when FlyQuest got a couple of kills back, I mean, Immortal's lead just keeps ballooning.
Take a deep breath, calm down. You've got plenty of time, until the next dragon. So honestly, they don't have to overextend. And even though Revenge has a hull breaker, Kumo is fine to catch waves. It's a little bit dangerous if you push too far out on side lanes with anybody, but you've got Bard who can traverse a lot of these, shorter distances between the inner turrets and provide you some sort of safety there, plus plenty of sustain to be able to just catch waves here, farm up a little bit. As we said, your 2 item breakpoints for Viktor and Jinx are both very significant.
Yeah.
So they're just trying to funnel farm into toucouille and Johnsun at the moment. As long as those 2 carries are not sharing a lane, then you should be fine.
Okay, so keep toucouille and Johnsun farming separately, but working together when those big fights show up. Aphromoo clearing out a little bit of vision here in the Baron pit. Revenge wants to get away. He knows Aphro is nearby, so he doesn't want to stick around and try to fight toucouille. The fight would not be fair. And Arrow is going to take the opportunity, seeing multiple players from FlyQuest in the top side to go after the mid lane. PowerOfEvil looking for Kumo here, uses the shockwave to try to bring the top laner on back. And with Xerxe arriving, there's your subjugation, there's your killing spree for the Immortals jungler.
Well, guess he's not even safe there at his turret. The combo from PoE and Xerxe gets another one, and that means they're going to finish up on the tower as well.
Nice use of Gale Force from Arrow to get away from the Bard ulti, but now the follow-up there with a flash stun coming out from Aphromoo. Destiny again here looking to make the saves, and he's got him down. Nicely played. FlyQuest is about to have a real bad time. Destiny might be taken out, but he would be the only one, and he still stands tall. Immortals are 9-2 against FlyQuest.
That magical journey had such a terrible end for FlyQuest. That was not a magical journey at all. That was a horrific journey right into the face of Aphelios, into the face of Arrow, and he murders them. Whoa, 3 kills and Baron. Immortals, baby, they're gonna do it.
Immortals are looking to break that loss streak here. They might be eliminated, but sometimes that's all you need to just play your heart out and find yourself a win. 2,000 HP left on the Baron. This one shouldn't matter too much. There's not going to be a contest. There we go. Smite lands. Immortals, 8,000 gold up.
Oh, they even
they got it.
dragon.
They got it. Okay. They got the dragon as well. They're on Soul Point, 8K lead. Baron for the next 3 minutes. This one should be their game. Arrow with a nice dodge there, and we'll watch the follow-up play.
All right, let's track it, because it does start out, Aphromoo moves up, he flashes, he gets the good combo of the stun. As soon as they get out of it, though, Destiny just devours him. And remember, you come out with a giant shield, and you're going right into that Infernum explosion. Look at all that damage pumped out from Arrow before the rest of Immortals even arrive.
And then
that was literally 2v3 before the rest of Immortals arrived. And then once they arrive, Flowers, the story does not get better at that point for the FlyQuest heroes.
The battle is already over. This is just them cleaning up everybody else.
IMT. Evil
Geniuses. They want that Immortals win. They know FlyQuest is close competition, and they do not want to see FlyQuest lock that playoff spot. EG excited to see it. Immortals are loving the state of the game right now. All they need to do is close. This is 100% their game to lose.
It certainly is, and that has been true for several other games so far in spring. So they do need to remain focused here, even with this gigantic lead for themselves. Dragon Soul point, giant 8,000 plus gold lead, Baron buff on them so they can keep on pushing in, get this last secondary tower. Destiny's getting chunked out, but he is TK, so should be just fine.
Yeah, he ain't worried about that one. This Tahm Kench is a big tanky boy, and now Immortals have a 3-man squad up top. They're rotating PowerOfEvil and Revenge up here as well to break the FlyQuest defensive line. Immortals will clear out the ward. As you can see, Revenge is here on the side, has about half a Gnar bar, so considering he can't immediately transform to try to make some sort of a play up there, no reason to even bother. Go mid, take the free tier 3. FlyQuest now falling back. They'll arrive to the tier 3 just in time to save it, but it means that tier 2 in top lane falls to the remaining 4 Immortals players. Josedeodo jumping in just in time to be stunned up by a wallop as Revenge retreats. Immortals now with, again, 2 points of pressure. The wave crashing into the top lane, not synced up with mid, so the mid lane tier 3 not gonna die just yet. Arrow could be in trouble, takes a little bit of damage, is kept safe once more by Destiny's Tahm Kench. This TK has shut down everything FlyQuest has tried to do almost throughout the entire game. Immortals going for their first inhibitor here in mid. Revenge is able to set that up. Now the pressure continues up here in the top lane. Josedeodo has to back away from the pillar. Revenge keeps shoving the wave forward over in mid. Tier 3 turret top falls. Johnsun eating a little bit of damage from the boomerang as Arrow finds the ulti only onto Kumo, so that won't matter a whole lot. Eats a bit of damage off the back end of things. Pillar thrown down behind the Nexus turrets. toucouille with the flash away from the shockwave. And Immortals have claimed 2 lanes of inhibitors and decide to reset.
Their work is so close to being done, Flowers. They can see the finish line. It is right there. They have so much money, though, that they can spend after resetting here that it should be a very focused way back out.
Everybody has over 1,000 gold in pocket to go back and spend on Immortals' side, but
Don't get caught. Don't get caught.
That looks like Josedeodo walking up towards him, though. Arrow's gonna get some damage. Josedeodo not really eating a whole lot here, not too concerned about it. Revenge takes a couple of hits. aphromoo now might get locked down. But no, Immortals, they don't want to overcommit. They don't want to get baited into some stupid fight for no reason that there's nothing to even win here. They're going to back, they're going to reset, they're going to shop, and then they're going to be in a great spot to claim that Mountain Soul and end the game.
Exactly. 1 minute on the clock. They can just play it out very cautiously. Super minions will apply pressure to both top and mid, buying you plenty of time to set up for this dragon. And honestly, with the way that the split has gone, I expect them to do that rather than trying to rush headlong towards the next.
Yeah, let's not do that play.
No cowboy plays here. No Leroy Jenkins. And this Summoner's Rift. Let's all play by the rules here. All right, so I'm teleporting right back out. Honestly, too, my MVP for this game is currently going to Destiny for the Tahm Kench pick. He both saved so many people, but also created a lot of plays for them with the W engages. So Destiny definitely having a really strong game for himself.
Okay, Josedeodo, he's going to be on the front line as FlyQuest approach Immortals. 15 seconds left on the Drake. Immortals with total control over Summoner's Rift. FlyQuest just trying to claw their way back into their own jungle, but Revenge is applying split pressure the entire time. He slams toucouille up into the wall, but I don't know about this one. It doesn't seem like it's gonna do a whole lot of good. Johnsun jumps in to clean him up. Revenge ends up giving away a free kill, but aphromoo might be the cost of it after all. He gets back away. Immortals a bit scattered. 4 versus 5 here on the map. Kumo with a nice separation ulti. Destiny's gonna get stunned up in the gravity well. He'll get away now. Immortals still grouped up as 4, still disengaging. That got a little wild there, a little loose.
Yeah, I started to sweat a little bit, actually. I've been seeing some of the comebacks that have occurred, but they're still going to be able to retreat and go grab their Mountain Soul. So no real detriment to Immortals' game plan for finishing this one out. They just have to wait for Revenge to revive, and he's got Unleashed Teleport. As long as this doesn't steal it.
There we go.
Yeah.
All right, we're fine.
We're fine.
Immortals are fine.
Be cool.
They're
Be cool,
chilling.
man. Be
Everybody just be cool.
cool. Everybody be cool. Revenge is alive. Mountain Soul acquired. Shield is on. They are pinging on Baron as well, so it looks like it is going to be a rotation over to set up for Baron.
Okay.
They've got decent turn with Tahm Kench. You know, we mentioned Destiny has been quite good with his W engages there on the Tahm Kench, so maybe they can get a turn off of Baron. There's no flash onto Revenge, or their turn off Baron would be really threatening. And it looks like FlyQuest know that there's not a lot of big slingshot potential here if they let this go. Jinx is recalling though, so I guess they're giving it up.
Yep, it appears that way. PowerOfEvil also stealing away the enemy blue buff, going to deny some of that mana regeneration from toucouille as well as guarantee it for himself. Baron locked and loaded here for the second time. Immortals has everything. They've got a 10,000 gold lead. They've got the entire enemy base knocked down. They've got the soul, they've got the Baron. This should be it.
The first two teams eliminated from even being able to qualify for playoff flowers have both stomped their games this Saturday. TSM over CLG, and now Immortals over a 10,000 gold lead, including Mountain Soul. Baron buff on. All that stands between them and victory is one Nexus turret.
Let's do it. FlyQuest positioning themselves defensively. They're ready to go, but Immortals will lead the charge. Kumo's going to be your focus, but he survives with stasis. Revenge losing half health here. Chaos Storm coming out from toucouille. They want to wait that one out. Kumo's still alive at about half HP too. Both of our top laners are hurt, but that's about it. Revenge continuing to walk away as Kumo tries to survive. Right back into the fountain he goes, keeping himself alive for now. Revenge with a slam into the wall, and the kill of the FlyQuest mid laner means this one is done. Arrow marches forward and Johnsun is down. Immortals will end the loss streak and take down FlyQuest.
There you go. Tahm Kench of the hour.
Destiny's Kench, man. He did so well with it that game.
Yeah, also big props to the rest of the team. You know, PowerOfEvil had really good timings on his shockwaves. Yep. Constantly catching toucouille with the shockwaves. Once with the combo with Destiny, also under the tower, even after the flash. Definitely nice job from him. Orianna, his most iconic to me champion, most played champion. Honestly, Immortals coming up with a big win, over 10,000 gold lead and the Mountain Soul Flowers. We just came up here and casted 2 stomps from the bottom 2 teams of the league, getting some revenge on the rest of the LCS.
And hey, I'm happy for these guys on Immortals to end that loss streak, get themselves one in the win column. It feels rotten to be on a slide like that for so long, so it's great just for the mental to be able to break that and say, okay, we've still got it. We've still got the recipe for success in here. We still know how to make this happen. Huge props to Destiny. Again, I think that Tahm Kench was so huge at foiling so many attempts that FlyQuest made to get back into the game. It kept them from ever having one of those, oh shit, did we just throw type of moments? The Kench was the bailout plan. It worked beautifully. Love to see how that happened. You already praised PowerOfEvil. We also get to see Xerxe's Trundle always coming around to the right spots, setting things up for the team. FlyQuest also having a couple of goofs where they go for the dragon, but then we don't have the smite for the dragon. Xerxe just walks in, TY for leash, less than 3. No problem. Hey, Immortals, that was good.
It certainly was. Honestly, Immortals, that was good.
that was good. That's sometimes, look, when you're on an 8-game slide, sometimes you just need to be able to look back at a game you played and say, hey, that was good.
Yeah, exactly.
That'll do it for you.
We still got it. Immortals still have it, and we've still got one more day of Super Week coming at us.
Oh, yeah.
Sunday for the conclusion, the final spot in playoffs. Also, the positions for playoffs yet to be
Very
solidified. That was one of the reasons also why Evil Geniuses were rooting against FlyQuest here, you know, trying to climb up those standings, get a better spot, top 4 spots, get those double elimination starting points in the tournament. And even if you have a difficult matchup, you know, in the top bracket,
right,
I still feel like that's a good experience. You know,
it's more practice.
It would be 5 games, and of course you're getting matched against, you know, either 100 Thieves, Cloud9, Team Liquid, so you're getting some really good stage experience. And The stage experience matters now more than ever because we've had 2 years since fans have been in the studio.
Yeah, playing in front of fans, playing in front of a real live audience, it's very different. So I can't wait to see it next weekend. But of course, we still got tomorrow to get through first to see how it all shakes out. But now we're heading over to the desk for the Bud Light breakdown. But stay tuned, because Hai is talking pro to pro with Destiny in just a few minutes. Jat, analysts, what's going on?
What's going on, Captain Flowers? We have the potential for anything to happen.
Yeah,
Yeah. So this is where we started the day.
it's taller than me.
Yeah, there was a lot of possibilities. Where are we now?
We're now at here.
Yeah, I'll take
And if
this.
you want
This is
the
like
excess-
a souvenir. Covers the whole desk.
That's
This
substantially
is the
shorter.
one I ripped. Yeah.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Oh,
We're
this
right
includes
here.
the folds.
It really felt like every team that was under pressure lost today.
It felt like the pressure got to a lot of teams, or
Yeah.
the release of pressure for the teams in the bottom allowed them to just play free and go for plays that ended up working out for them.
Yeah, we're going to pull up standings after this game because there's a block of teams. Big block of teams.
We're heading for it.
FlyQuest, EG, Golden Guardians, Dignitas. It's possible that continues to compress to a four-way tie.
That is the big
That's
tie-break
the big
scenario.
Also, TL, again, can be first because of the Cloud9 loss rate to 100 Thieves. Even 100 Thieves could technically be first.
Yep.
1, 2, 3 doesn't actually matter as much here because 2 will play 3 in the first round of the playoffs. That 4 spot is what FlyQuest really wanted to get an upper hand on securing, and they failed to do that here.
Yeah, you saw, EG was tweeting, let's go Immortals in the middle of that game because
Yeah.
they want that extra life
They
in
want that
playoffs.
fourth spot.
And for those 3 teams at the top, you still want the first seed to then play the 4th seed and avoid these other 2 that are head and shoulders, it appears, better than the others.
Okay,
And-
tomorrow's schedule, how do we get the 4-way tie?
Yeah, so 4-way tie. We need to have Dig, basically Dig need to win because they're the
That
team.
gets them to 8.
Yeah.
First game, too.
And then essentially GG, EG, and Fly all have to lose. So CLG, C9, and IMT all have to win. And then TSM, TL, it doesn't matter. So there are 2 scenarios there where we end up with a 4-way tie between FlyQuest, Golden Guardians, EG, and Dignitas.
And what's interesting about that is, like, the Dignitas schedule quirk is the craziest thing. Like, they're 0-2 against EG, they're 0-2 against FlyQuest, they're 0-2 against Golden Guardians. So any 3-way tie, they're just out.
Yeah.
They're auto 7.
But a 4-way tie,
They got a chance.
There's a bracket.
there's a bracket they play in as the lowest seed in air quotes.
Scheduling magic.
Yeah. We're on top of it.
Yeah,
All day
got
we
it.
were really
I mean,
on top of it.
we were trying to crunch the numbers.
We were doing our darndest.
Yeah, we're doing our darndest to crunch the numbers. Interesting, just to kind of react to this game a little bit while they're still setting up the Pro to Pro with Destiny. You saw toucouille afterwards. Seemed really either down or something with this.
I mean, he had his head in his hands. I think
Yeah.
he didn't have a very good game, given that we were just hyping him up like all pro. You know, this is going to be great.
Yeah.
And then he dies to a gank mid where he doesn't flash the Tahm Kench going in. Just didn't have a good game after that and was pretty forgettable. And that's coming in a time where your team can still miss playoffs if you don't continue to play well. The
Yeah.
pressure is still there, and you individually not have a great game. I feel like, all of FlyQuest was feeling that one.
Yeah, I mean, I think the big thing is I'll say this, he was targeted, but I do think we also see what happens to this FlyQuest team when they don't have that kind of constant point of pressure or just like constant, like reliable. We've talked a lot about so many teams of like, you want one point on the map where you can always rely on it to be at least stable, right? If not like destroying, like we've talked about Summit's value on C9 or something. And I do feel like toucouille has been that for FlyQuest.
Yeah.
So while we've talked about like Josedeodo and how much he's improved and how awesome he's looked for most of the split, I think another key instrumental point to FlyQuest success is the fact that toucouille has been so reliable in the mid lane.
Yeah, I agree, and it's going to be tricky for FlyQuest, I think, moving forward here, or not. Like another conversation Mark and I were having. Like, is this one of those weeks where so much changes in the last week of the regular season, all your expectations are like thrown away, and then playoff starts, and things just end up being
What
the
you
same.
thought. Yeah.
Yeah, because before the last 10 games, we saw like, okay, C9 TL, clear top 2, which, hold on, that's not the case. 100 Thieves is 12-5.
Yes.
So they're actually within 1 game
Yes.
of the top. Then we have this big block of 4 teams, and like before, I would say, oh yeah, EG is probably the top of that,
Yeah.
but they could still miss playoffs in this
Yeah.
in this world.
I know what you're saying. Like, there's a world where we have all this craziness. Let's say, somehow C9 lose again tomorrow, 100 Thieves leapfrogs to the front of the table, something crazy happens, then playoffs comes around, and then in the first round of playoffs, C9 absolutely dumpsters their opponent. So that does happen sometimes, where the end of season craziness, when all this pressure's on, when you get into best of fives, goes back to normal.
Yeah. All right, Pro to Pro is ready, so we're going to be tossing over to High and the player of the game, Destiny, to talk Pro to Pro.
Hello, everyone. I have Destiny we're here, and if you're gonna take a look, I actually don't have his point of view up. I actually have the opposite side of things. I don't know if you know how lucky you guys got to get the first dragon, because first off, look at the HP, right? You assume it dies, but if I hit play here really quick, you'll see that the dragon HP actually resets. I don't know how often that happens. It does occasionally, and like Baron can heal HP as well, but I would say this dragon should have been free for FlyQuest, and the game might be a bit different. So I have a question first and foremost. Do you think Dragon HP resetting is a good thing, or do you think Dragon should have a patience bar above its head?
I personally think it should have a patience bar, similarly to Rift Herald. It just makes it a lot easier to see when you know it's going to reset, right?
Right.
Like, this dragon should have been free for FlyQuest. Bit unlucky.
Yeah.
Happens.
You take those, right?
It happens. Yeah, we could have also responded earlier, but we take these, and yeah, I think it should have a bar. I think it makes the most sense.
Yeah, so obviously you guys couldn't see it from your point of view, so I just wanted to show you to it really quick.
Yeah.
League is cool like that. Well, I don't know how cool this is for FlyQuest, but cool for you guys. So I'll play this out. You guys get the free dragon. You don't get any kills after this, but I actually have a play here where you roam from bottom all the way up to mid. So when I see this play, I think it's kind of weird because of two things. One, they know you're coming here, and two, they see your jungler Xerxe clearing a pink ward. Despite all this happening, you guys still get this kill mid. So looking back at this and knowing the information that they know you're here, would you still go for this? Because if you go for this play mid, your bot wave, it gets crashed in, they miss like 2 full waves. So obviously the gank works out, but the way I see it, this guy's hard trolling, honestly.
Yeah.
Would you go for this again?
I mean, I think in most cases, Tahm Kench would like to stay bot lane. He's obviously a very lane oppressive champion. When you hit Qs, he's very strong. I think they just didn't expect me to stay there for that long. Obviously, I definitely overstayed, and I thought I would just get his flash. And I think losing Flash's Viktor in this game is like very bad because they have a bard. He wants to influence mid. They want to get mid priority and move to bot. So I thought in my head, look, I'll drop a wave, but we get a flash, should be good for the map.
So it's a trade that you thought would be good despite losing the wave.
Yes, in my head, it was like, if I get this guy's flash, it's so good for the game. And
Gotcha. Is this something that you called specifically, or was PowerOfEvil like, yo, come mid? This guy's
this was definitely my call, because I was asking Xerxe to pillar him, and yeah, I pretty much asked him to pillar him to set me up. And I think, yeah, it paid off pretty big.
Yeah,
I think
you got a free kill.
I mean, I think staying bot and just throwing Qs versus Bard, obviously he can just chuck a health puddle down and they just regen up. So I felt like just impacting mid was most important.
Gotcha, cool. So then we have a third clip here, actually. I think there's I don't know if this was intended at all, but you have a really cool ultimate here, and then afterwards you'll see that you're just standing on top of Arrow, and they can't actually hit him because they're clicking on you instead of him. So I don't know if that's something that you plan, or if Arrow just doesn't move after this, but you'll take a watch here. You land on top of him. Now they can't click on him. Like, his health bar is just under you, and he's no longer like hittable. So number one, is that a mechanic that like is something people can plan for? And then number two, obviously after you guys get these kills, you start getting better and you start playing out the game. Yeah. So number one, talk to me about the mechanic, and then number two, who's deciding like, your macro play 20 minutes into the game?
So coming into we saw them topside, we knew they were pressuring top. So like, all right, we'll hit mid bot tier 2s for free. It was kind of a team decision. We all agreed like this is the best play. They're kind of trolling for going for the topside play. Arrow was really confident to hit the tier 2 mid. He dodged the ult with Gale Force. I think this was like pretty planned, to be honest. I think it's very hard for them to actually kill Aphelios. I think Tahm Kench is just really broken when he's ahead.
Yeah.
The eat mechanic is just...
You gave him like 1,000 HP shield, dragged him halfway across the map.
They threw everything at him, and he still didn't die here. Obviously, there was a little bit of int on their side, taking the portal when Jinx did not have flash. But yeah, I think we were pretty confident going in like with our lead.
Gotcha. So then, obviously, you guys just broke your loss streak. Can you tell me just a little bit about like how it feels to win, and then have you guys made changes in terms of your shot calling? And like, obviously, when you have these leads and you start losing, it's like a throw, right? Yeah. So have you guys kind of pivoted and changed who's like directing the gameplay, or is it just kind of you guys are just playing better?
I'd say that we went back to the basics. We kind of looked at the drawing board and look, fundamentals really suck. Even though we're like veterans and like pro players for a long time, we just suck. I think we had to like kind of bite the ego, and we kind of went back to the steps of the game. Obviously yesterday the team had a gigantic throw. And I mean, coming into this game, there was no pressure, right? We're out of playoffs, so I think having that non-stress relief for us was like really big. Hopefully into summer we can keep on improving on this and just play the game how it's meant to be played. We shouldn't be losing these leads, and it sucks. It really sucks, but I think we're getting there. We just need to put in the time and the work.
Awesome, gotcha. It was great to hear from you. Before I send you off, do you have anything you want to say or anything you have planned for tomorrow's game? Can you pick something cool for me?
Maybe we get it for fun, Ash Zyra, just like the C9 days.
Okay,
What do you reckon?
What about Vel'Koz, though? He's actually good.
Vel'Koz?
Zyra's not actually good. Vel'Koz.
Vel'Koz? I'll let PoE. I'll see if he wants to play that one.
Sounds good. So that's going to be all for us here. I'm going to send it back to the analyst desk. Thank you, everyone.
All right, thanks, guys.
I'll look out for the Vel'Koz.
Watch out for the Vel'Koz.
If it doesn't happen, cowards.
Yeah. What do we need Immortals to do tomorrow in order to keep these alive? They need to beat Golden Guardians.
Yeah.
Destiny, you need to beat Golden Guardians tomorrow for the 4-way tiebreaker.
Yeah.
I'll try.
Yeah. He says
And if
he'll
it's
try.
not done with Vel'Koz, it doesn't count.
Yeah, I'll count it. We have a lot of pogs today. We're going to go through the leaderboard and check in on what has happened there. Xerxe, first mid lane pog he's had this split, I believe is what he said.
Yeah.
Lost to Someday, Spica, and Destiny.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was going to say Someday is creeping up there with overall pogs, I want to say, after today. He keeps picking them up.
Let's look at the leaderboard. I know Summit's going to be at 7.
Yeah.
Ooh, at 5. And Summit did die 8 times.
So
today.
Summit plays a style that will get you a lot of pogs when you win, but when you lose, both the TSM game last week, this one against 100 Thieves, looked pretty terrible with how many deaths he picks up. So, I mean, I'm not going to criticize it too much. I personally appreciate players who will go to the limit.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you know, it is a downside you have to reckon with where, okay, he's going to go 0 kills and die 8 times against the Malphite when it goes bad.
Live Sandbox Summit, Emily, you were saying?
Yeah. I mean, like, so this is, from watching him in LCK, I actually agree with Mark, where I appreciate that about him, right?
Yeah.
He is an incredibly volatile player. We just haven't seen as many teams be able to punish that yet. And so now the question is whether they will be able to punish it going forward, or whether this will just be an occasional blip on the C9 radar.
Yeah, definitely something to keep track of. C9 do not have that #1 seed locked. We had a lot of stuff happen today. A lot of stuff can still happen tomorrow, and that is going to do it from here. So on behalf of myself, the cashers of the entire remote broadcast crew, thank you for watching, and we will see you tomorrow for more LCS. Good night. Throw the dart.
These aren't heavy enough.
What if I threw this?
Yeah.
Don't.
Like a little frisbee.
Well, this hasn't.
Oh,
Okay.
that almost hit actually, though.
I'm not going to throw stuff. I'm not.
Damn.
It's addicting. See you.
Can someone explain to me
one-tapping me.
what Freak is wearing? Like he has like a ramen bowl around him.
Oh, yeah, makes sense.
Yeah. What? Wait, why does that make
LCS
sense?
is
sponsored by ramen noodles or what?
Neo at half HP, no flash, no heal. Ari's on the way in, gets the root, GP on the top, and sadly, Hansama! They're gonna have River jump in, an ulti to the back line. Hecarim dives over 1 for 0 so far. TL just gonna cut him to pieces. It's time to run away, and Digna tossed it all away. Only one left alive.
We no longer are freaking as hell. We're
No.
one entity.
You're one entity called the Doug Duo. Last time I was Soup, and that made it a little different, you know?
It did, yeah.
You know, you can be the chopsticks to my ramen any day. They're gonna go in for a little bit more there. Vulcan to the front line, so much damage. They'll kill him as well. Golden Guardians fighting for a playoff spot, and they're slaughtering the chief competition. And now with the Malphite coming in with the ulti, this could be enough to kill Summit. Flash into the brush, will he get away? Flash to follow, and someday, solo kills Summit.
That's me. Guys, watch. This is good. Zeri.
Does anyone kill?
Nice, kill him.
I can tank. Come.
No,
Okay, come.
Go.
Okay.
Kill this guy.
Stun him too.
Let's go, Nash, after. I think you guys kill.
I'll stun him. I can tank.
Kick.
I'm fine.
You have Zonya?
Sonya.
Nice.
Tank.
It's AoE wombo combo time. Spica's ready to go, and Jenkins jumps in first. Now, who's going to be the first to die? Jenkins should go. Spica's on a killing spree, and Contracts is thrown up into the air. He cannot try to 1v1 on the red carpet. Man, I love a throw it all out the window type of game, Kobe. Just take all that stuff out the window. Yeah, get all that out the window. We're gonna get this out the window. Keeping himself alive for now. Revenge with a slam into the wall, and the kill of the FlyQuest mid laner means this one is done. Arrow marches forward and Johnsun is down. Immortals will end the loss streak and take down FlyQuest.